My name is Daniel, and I'm 55 years old now. But what I'm about to tell you happened when I was just 16 in the fall of 1986. It was Halloween weekend, and 3 of my closest friends and I had rented out an old beach house. Back then, it sounded like freedom. No parents, no rules, just us and the ocean. I didn't realize until much later how strange the place already felt. The house itself looked like it should have been torn down years before. Its paint was flaking off in strips. The windows were cracked, and the whole place smelled faintly of metal, like rust and blood mixed with salt air. Even now, when I think back, I can still smell it. That first night, the weather was strange. The air was colder than it should have been, damp in a way that clung to your skin. Every time the wind pushed against the shutters, it made a hollow whistle that sounded more like someone whispering from the walls. I remember feeling unsettled, but we were teenagers. We laughed it off, cracked open some cheap beers, and went out to the sand. That's when we saw the light. At first, it was just one faint glow far down the shoreline, moving from side to side like someone swinging a lantern. But then it split into 3 separate lights, swaying closer, almost like they were dancing their way toward us. We stood there frozen until we heard it. Laughter. Not human laughter. Not really. It was low and broken, like someone who had never laughed before was trying to copy the sound. My stomach dropped. Even now, almost 40 years later, I can still hear it in the back of my head if the night is quiet enough. When the figures stepped into the moonlight, they looked normal. Just 3 men. Tall, grinning, dressed like they'd come from a Halloween party. My friends waved. I wanted to leave. They sat with us. They smiled too wide, their teeth too perfect. Every time I blinked, it felt like their faces didn't fit quite right, like masks slipping just a little. But my friends ignored it, pouring drinks, laughing too loudly to drown out the sound of the wind that seemed to hiss warnings none of us could understand. After a while, the men invited us back to their place. I refused. I was exhausted and uneasy, but Thea and Sabrina went with them. Lindsay hesitated, then followed. I went back to the beach house alone. That night, I woke at 3:07 in the morning. My phone rang. It was Lindsay. She didn't say hello. She just screamed. Through broken sobs, she told me she had seen it all. The men weren't men. Their faces had stretched and torn like skin peeling off something with too many teeth underneath. She said Thea and Sabrina were forced into a black SUV. Before she could finish, the line went dead. And then I heard it. Knocking at the back door. Slow. Heavy, deliberate. A voice called my name. The ocean had gone silent. The wind had died. All I could hear was that knocking and that voice that wasn't a voice, scraping through the cracks of the house, dragging my name out like it had been practicing it for years. I never saw Thea or Sabrina again.
the police wrote it off as a runaway case. No SUV was ever found. No strangers were ever identified. And me? I've lived with it for nearly 40 decades. Even now, when the wind whistles through the trees at night, it doesn't sound like the weather to me. It sounds like the beach house calling me back.